Let us study the next colligative property, that is osmotic pressure. See, like boiling point elevation and freezing point depression, the osmotic pressure is also associated with the vapor pressure lowering, and it can be used to find out the molecular masses of the dissolved solute. Okay, and the next to study the osmotic pressure, that is we have to use this semi-permeable membrane. Okay, now what is semi-permeable membrane? It is a thin film such as a cellophane which has pores, and through these pores only the solvent molecules can pass through it, but not solute particles, is it? Because the pores of the semi-permeable membrane are so small, it cannot allow to pass through it the solute molecules, okay, or ions, that means of high molecular masses through it. The semi-permeable membrane, that is selectively allows passage of solvent molecules only, is it? Not solute molecules. Now see here, let us see first, that is osmosis, the process of osmosis. See, to study osmosis process, two diagrams are drawn here, is it? The one is here, two liquids are separated by means of semi-permeable membrane. This is semi-permeable membrane, and the two liquids, that is here in this diagram, solvent and solution, is separated by the semi-permeable membrane. And in the next diagram, that is the two solutions taken here are solution of lower concentration and the solution of higher concentration, and these two liquids, these are separated by the semi-permeable membrane. Okay, now see, through the concept of both of the diagram is same, that is the flow of solvent molecules from solvent column to solution column, and here that is the flow of solvent molecules from the solution of lower concentration towards the solution of higher concentration. Okay, say see, let us define first the process of osmosis. Okay, now osmosis is defined as it is the spontaneous flow of solvent molecules into the solution or from the lower concentration towards the higher concentration is through the semi-permeable membrane is called as osmosis process. See, osmosis is defined as it is the net spontaneous flow of the solvent molecules into the solution or from the more dilute or lower concentrated solution towards the more concentrated solution through the semi-permeable membrane is called as osmosis process. Now here, that is, it is important to understand that the passage of solvent molecules through the semi-permeable membrane takes place in both the direction, is it? See, the solvent is in both sides of the membrane, that is, however, the rate of the passage of solvent molecules into the solution or from the lower concentration towards the higher concentration is found to be greater than the rate of in the reverse direction. So this is favorable since the vapor pressure of the solvent is greater than that of the vapor pressure of the solution. So this is the reason why that is the rate of the flow of solvent molecule from solvent towards the solution or from the lower concentration towards the higher concentration is more. Okay, let us study the osmosis and osmotic pressure with the help of this diagram. See, in this diagram, a thistle funnel which is filled with the sugar solution. This is filled with the sugar solution and whose mouth is fastened with the semi-permeable membrane here, and which is kept inverted in the water which is kept in this container. Okay, see, this is the thistle funnel which is kept or inverted in the container which is filled with the water, and this container is filled with the sugar solution. Okay, and here the mouth is closed firmly with the semi-permeable membrane. See, as this is the solution and this is the solvent, is it? Here some of the solvent molecules, according to the definition of osmosis, enters into the sugar solution. That means enters in the that is this Thistle funnel. Okay, see here actually as the solvent molecule passes in this that Thistle funnel, the liquid column in the Thistle funnel starts to rise, is it? That means as the solution or the liquid rises in the liquid, that is in the neck of the Thistle funnel, it creates the hydrostatic pressure and that pushes the solvent back through the membrane into the container, is it? The column of the liquid in the tube in the neck continues to rise, and after some time the rising stops. That means the level remains constant. The level of the liquid in the tube remains constant. At this stage, the hydrostatic pressure developed is sufficient to force solvent molecules back through the membrane into the container at the same rate they enter in the solution. See here actually an equilibrium is established where the rate of the forward and reverse passage of the solvent are equal, and here actually here the height of the liquid column remains constant. Okay, so here this actually this implies that the hydrostatic pressure has stopped the osmosis. The hydrostatic pressure developed in this tube has stopped the osmosis process. So we can define osmotic pressure as the hydrostatic pressure that stops the osmosis is called as osmotic pressure, and it is shown by pi. Okay, and the pi is equals to h rho g, where h is height of the liquid column and rho is the density of the solution, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so this is the osmosis. What is see, osmosis and osmotic pressure. Now how can you just define osmotic pressure? The osmotic pressure is the hydrostatic pressure that stops the osmosis is called osmotic pressure and denoted by pi, and pi is equals to h rho g. Now let us see these terms: isotonic solution, hypertonic solution and hypotonic solution. Okay, now isotonic solution. What are isotonic solution? Two or more solutions having the same osmotic pressure, having the same osmotic pressure. Okay, two or more solution having the same osmotic pressure are called as isotonic solutions. Okay, see the two solutions. Now for the osmotic that is isotonic solution, let us see the example. The two solutions having the same concentration, having same molarity, have the same osmotic pressure, and they can be called as the isotonic solution. Okay, now for example, here for the isotonic solution, if we consider 0.1 molar, that is urea solution, and 0.1 molar sucrose solution, the concentration is same and the osmotic pressure developed here is also equal. That's why these two solutions are isotonic solutions to each other. Okay, here now the next, hypertonic solution and hypotonic solution. See, this is the comparative words actually. If two solutions have unequal osmotic pressures, the more concentrated solution with higher osmotic pressure is said to be hypertonic solution. Okay, here what is hypertonic solution? That is the solution which is having more concentration and higher osmotic pressure is said to be hypertonic solution, and the other which is that is low concentration or more dilute solution having less osmotic pressure or lower osmotic pressure is called as hypotonic solution. Okay, let us study the next point, that is osmotic pressure and concentration of the solution. See, here concentration is expressed in terms of molarity, not in molality. Because osmotic pressure is determined at a particular constant temperature, that's why the concentration is expressed in terms of molarity. Now see here, for dilute solutions, very dilute solutions, pi v is equals to nRT. This is the ideal equation, that is pi v is equals to nRT. Pi is the osmotic pressure, v is the volume of the solution, n are the number of moles, r is the gas constant, and T is the temperature. Now see here, n, the number of moles, here number of moles are of solute, that's why n is replaced by n2. So pi v is equals to n2 RT. Now n2, the number of moles, that is number of moles of the solute. Now rearranging this equation, v is taken to the right side, pi is equals to n2 upon v into RT. n2 upon v, number of moles per unit volume, is the concentration term, and the concentration here is expressed in molarity m. Now n2 upon v is replaced by capital M, so the equation become pi is equals to m into RT, where R is the gas constant. Gas constant, the value of gas constant is written here, m is equals to 0.08206 dm cube atmosphere per Kelvin per mole. Okay, so this equation pi is equals to mRT is the relation between osmotic pressure and concentration of solution. Now the next concept, that is molar mass of the solute from osmotic pressure. As osmotic pressure is the colligative property, okay, that is as like elevation in the boiling point and depression in freezing point, we can calculate the molecular mass of the solute from the osmotic pressure. We know the equation, that is pi is equals to n2 into RT upon V, that is from this equation. So as n2, the number of moles which are expressed W2 upon m2, where W2 is the mass of the solute dissolved in the solution, and m2 is its molar mass. So that is W2 upon m2, it gives the number of moles of the solute. Now this is substituted here, equation becomes pi is equals to W2 upon m2 into RT upon V. So m2 is equals to W2 upon pi into RT upon V. Okay, so from this equation, that is as pi is the osmotic pressure, we can find out the molecular mass of the solute. Now see the next concept, that is a reverse osmosis. As the name indicates, it is the reverse of osmosis. Okay, what is osmosis? Osmosis is the process, that is spontaneous flow of the solvent molecules from solvent towards the solution, or from the more dilute solution towards the concentrated solution, is it? So this is the osmosis. Okay, and what is its reverse? The flow of the solvent molecules from the solution towards the solvent is the reverse osmosis. To study the reverse osmosis, a diagram is drawn here, where that is this total container is separated by means of the semi-permeable membrane, and towards the left side of the semi-permeable membrane fresh water is kept, and towards the right it is salty water as a solution. Okay, now see here, to the left side towards the fresh water, that is fresh water outlet is given for the water, and towards the right side piston is shown to apply the pressure. The pressure applied towards the salty water or towards the solution, on the solution, which is greater than the osmotic pressure pi. Okay, now see, if the direction of the osmosis can be reversed, by applying the pressure which is larger than the osmotic pressure, then reverse osmosis takes place. Okay, If with the help of this piston we apply the pressure on the solution side, on the solution towards the solution side, which is greater than the osmotic pressure pi, then that is the pure solvent flows from the solution towards the solvent through semi-permeable membrane is called as reverse osmosis. See the next concept, colligative properties of electrolytes, that is solutions of electrolytes, electrolytic solutions. See, already we have seen that the colligative properties of non-electrolytic solutions, and these colligative properties were the elevation in boiling point, lowering of vapor pressure, and depression in freezing point. Okay, but apart from the colligative properties of non-electrolytes or the solutions of non-electrolytes, the solutions of electrolytes also exhibits the colligative properties. Okay, see here, but the colligative properties observed in the case of solutions of the electrolytes or electrolytic solutions are different than the colligative properties of the non-electrolytic solutions. Now say we have to go in the different way to study the colligative properties of the electrolytes. Now experimental observations for the colligative properties of the solutions of electrolytes are here summarized. The one, the solutions of electrolytes exhibits the colligative properties, no doubt, but the expressions or the relations of the colligative properties of the electrolytes are not same as that of the non-electrolytic solutions. Now the colligative properties of the electrolytes are greater than those of the solutions of non-electrolytes. Okay, the properties found here in the case of electrolytic solutions, colligative properties are greater than the or higher than those of the non-electrolytic solutions. Now here, moreover, molar mass of electrolytes in the aqueous solution of electrolytes determined by the colligative properties are found to be lower than the formula mass. Okay, formula mass, molecular mass. Now see, these are the observations experimentally drawn in the case of the colligative properties of the solutions of electrolytes. Now why the colligative properties are different or that is higher in the case of the electrolytic solutions? Because the electrolytes dissociate to form the ions. See, one molecule when dissociation of electrolyte takes place, then there is the formation of two or more ions takes place. That's why the number of particles increases than the expected value. That's why the colligative properties are found to be higher than the solutions of non-electrolytes. Okay. Now for example, if we take the say first of all, let us consider the aqueous solution of sodium chloride. NaCl dissociates to give two ions, Na plus and Cl minus. That means one particle dissociates to give two particles. That means the number of particles ultimately increases. If you take the example of solution of sucrose, it does not dissociate. One molecule after dissolution remains one molecule. That's why the number of particles in the case of NaCl becomes, see, in spite of the same concentration of sodium chloride and sucrose, the number of particles in the solutions are found to be twice the number of sucrose in the solution. So the colligative property of 0.1 molar solution of NaCl is twice than of 0.1 sucrose solution. Okay, so this is about the colligative properties of electrolytes. Why the colligative properties of electrolytes are different than the colligative properties of the solutions of non-electrolytes. Okay. Let us study the next point, that is Van 't Hoff factor, which is denoted by I. Okay. Now say, to obtain the colligative properties of electrolyte solution, that is Van 't Hoff suggested a factor which is represented by I. and the Vanta factor is defined as it is the ratio of the colligative property of electrolyte solution to the colligative property of non-electrolyte solution of the same concentration. So Vanta factor I is defined as it is the ratio of the colligative property of the electrolyte solution divided by the colligative property of the non-electrolyte solution of the same concentration. So this delta TF naught, this subscript indicates this is the colligative property of the non-electrolyte solution. Okay, now actually this is the colligative property in the numerator. This is the colligative property of electrolyte, and electrolyte as dissociates. So this can also be expressed as the Vanta factor I is equals to the number of moles of particles in solution after dissociation divided by moles of formula unit dissolved in solution of the same concentration. Is it? Okay. Now see here, as we know that the colligative property is actually the colligative property depends upon the number of particles. Okay, so this is the colligative property of the electrolyte solution. This is for non-electrolyte solution, right? Now, but the colligative property, whether in the numerator or denominator, that is inversely proportional to the molecular mass M2, right? If we derived these formulas, the relations, if you see in these relations, previously we have derived, that is these colligative properties are inversely proportional to the molecular masses, right? So here we can write the colligative property in the numerator, whether in the denominator, is inversely proportional to the molar mass, molecular mass of the solute. That's why we can write here for numerator 1 upon observed molar mass of substance, because the molar mass depends upon the number of particles in the solution, is it? So observed molar mass of a substance divided by, for this, 1 upon formula mass of a substance, because formula unit is dissolved in, so that's 1 upon formula mass of a substance. So after rearrangement, this becomes formula mass of a substance divided by observed molar mass of a substance. So here M theoretical means formula mass, it is the theoretical value, molecular mass of a substance theoretically, so M theoretical, and it is observed molar mass means M observed, molecular mass observed from the solution itself after dissociation, right? So this is the Vanta factor. Modified equations for the colligative properties of non-electrolytic solutions. So this is the modification of expression of colligative properties. Okay, the modification of expression of the colligative properties of the non-electrolytic solutions. See here, the expressions of the colligative properties of the non-electrolyte solutions are modified so as to make them applicable for electrolyte solutions, and the modified equations are as it is. If see here, as we know, that is delta P is equals to P01 into X2, that equation previously we have seen. Simply it is, this factor is multiplied by I. Now delta TB is equals to KB into M, that equation we have derived, that simply is multiplied by I. Delta TF is equals to KF into M, that is the previous equation, it is simply multiplied by I. And pi is equals to I into MRT, that is multiplied previously by I. So here now that is again, these are the equations, expressions of the colligative properties of the non-electrolyte solution, and simply these are multiplied by the factor I, Vanta factor. It is because after multiplication of that is the Vanta factor I, these are now applicable for the colligative properties of the electrolyte solutions. Okay, so these are the modified equations of expressions of colligative properties of non-electrolytic solutions. Let us see Vanta factor I and degree of dissociation. Say why the degree of dissociation? Because say here, in case of the electrolyte, the colligative properties of the solutions of electrolytes, Some of the electrolytes dissociates completely, are the strong electrolytes, and some of the electrolytes they dissociates weakly. In these solutions are the weak electrolytes. That means the weak electrolytes dissociates to a small extent. The weak electrolytes dissociates to a small extent, and the weak electrolytes, that's why involves the concept of degree of dissociation alpha associated with the dissociation of the weak electrolytes. That changes the degree of dissociation, is it? Now consider AXBY. It is a weak electrolyte and it dissociates in its aqueous solution as AXBY. It dissociates to give X moles of A, Y plus, and Y moles of B, X minus. Now initially 1 mole of this weak electrolyte is dissolved in the solution. That's why before dissociation the initial moles of A are cations are 0 and initial moles of anions are also 0. After dissociation the equilibrium state is attained. At equilibrium, if alpha number of moles are dissociated both of cation and anion, then the number of moles of AX and BY undissociated left in the solution are 1 minus alpha mole, and that of A cation are X into alpha. X is the coefficient number of moles, X into alpha, and Y is the number of moles of anions, so Y times of alpha. So these are the total number of moles of each of them at equilibrium. Now total number of moles after complete dissociation or after the equilibrium, at the equilibrium state, the 1 minus alpha plus X into alpha plus Y into alpha. Now simply just remove this bracket. 1 minus alpha, X alpha and Y alpha. Okay. See here, throughout these 3 steps the alpha is common. So X, what will remain in the bracket? If after taking alpha outside the bracket, X plus Y minus 1. Okay. So instead of X plus Y, the number of cations and anions, the number of ions is taken as simply N, the number of ions. So the equation becomes 1 plus alpha in a bracket N minus 1. Okay. Now according to the definition of Van 't Hoff factor, the formula for Van 't Hoff factor is the Van 't Hoff factor is equals to actual moles of particles in the solution after dissociation divided by moles of formula unit dissolved in solution, which is 1 mole. So the total number of moles after dissociation are these, that is we write here 1 plus alpha in bracket N minus 1, and number of formula units, moles of formula units is 1. So this equation can be taking this 1 to the left side, 1 minus alpha is equals to alpha in bracket N minus 1. Okay. Or this can be written as, for the alpha, the equation for simply alpha can be rearranged. Alpha is equals to 1 minus 1, I minus 1 upon N minus 1. So this is the formula which gives the relation between the degree of dissociation alpha for the solution of weak electrolyte and I, the Van 't Hoff factor. Okay. So this is the end of the lesson.